Hola y bienvenidos a Español 2, Día 1, Homework Workbook Answers. 41 through 53, you should have already submitted your completed 41 through 53 document, or if you wrote it on paper, pictures of the paper. Copying, also you should have submitted page 131, vocab, in English and Spanish. Submit handwritten work. That's the only part of any of the assignments that are required to be handwritten. And you should have already submitted the following results of these studyspanish.com quizzes. A reminder of our videos. If you need to review them, the links are in Google Class, so you don't have to type in any of that, because you can't click on this when it's a video. Going to start going over the answers. Workbook, page 41, página 41, we did number 1. Number 2, Margarita is getting her teeth cleaned. Letra E, está en el dentista. She's at the dentist. 3, Laura is checking out a book. Letra H, está en la biblioteca. She's at the library. 4, Gustavo is watching a movie. Letra A, está en el cine. He's at the movie theater. 5, Guillermo is jogging. Letra B, está en el parque. He is at the park. 6, Señor López is teaching biology. Letra G, está en la escuela. He is at the school. 7, Señora Sainz is resting after a long trip. Letra F, está en el hotel. She's at the hotel. Y número 8, Josefina is getting a flu shot. Letra D, está en el médico. She's at the doctor. Coming to the same page, Sección 2, we did 1, 2, and 3. This was a word bank that you used to fill in quite a bit of blanks, 10 of them, starting on number 4, 4. So in number 3, Roberto said mucho gusto, which means pleased to meet you. Rocio, as I said in your explanation video, is a girl's name. Rocio is a girl's name. So she said, pleased to meet you, or delighted, encantada. 5, ¿saben? Hay una blank en la escuela. Do y'all know that there is a something at school? Fiesta, party. 6, blank no vamos. Blank don't we go. ¿Por qué? Why don't we go? 7, blank es cuando. When is it? 8, es blank a las 7 de la noche. It is mañana, tomorrow. At 7 at night. 9, yo quiero ir. I want to go. 10, vamos. Let's go. Muy bien. Página 42. This was matching. We did number 1, El Zócalo. Número 2, el Museo Nacional de Antropología, the National Museum of Anthropology. Letra E, exhibits of pre-Columbian cultures. That's what archaeology studies. Ancient cultures, old cultures. 3, el Templo Mayor. Letra E, the main temple of the ancient Aztec capital. 4, el Paseo de la Reforma. Letra D, a wide street built by Emperor Maximilian. 5, Chapultepec. Letra F, a very large park. 6, las atracciones. Letra B, amusement park rides. The next section was fill in the blank with just te, le, or les. Te, when you are talking to a friend. Le, when you are talking to somebody formal, like a teacher. Les, when you talk to more than one person. Continuing with number 4, Blanca y Ángela. More than one person, les. 5, Miguel, we're on a first name basis with him, informal, te. 6, Don Rodrigo. Don is a title, so we're using le. Think of it as a built-in sir when you're talking to somebody. 7, Pedro y Carla. More than one person, les. 8, Señor Gómez. Le, he has a title, formal. 9, Gabi, Gabriela. We know her name, first name basis, informal, te. Y número 10, Hugo y Raúl, more than one person, less. Muy bien. Página 43, we were creating sentences using something from each column. And I reminded you, whenever you have a and el side by side, which means to the, you have to contract it. You don't have the option like in English. You can say can, not, or can't in English, and it's both correct, but it's not the same for Spanish. You can't say a, el, and al and be correct. Al has to contract. So let's start with number 3, número 3. Enrique is the next person in the first column. Enrique, we know his name, first name basis, informal, te presento a. And I'll just go straight across where it says el señor Portillo. Oops, perdóname. El señor Portillo, looking at a, el, side by side, has to contract to al, Enrique. This is Mr. Portillo. 4, Don Humberto. Remember, don is a title, it's like sir, so it's going to be formal, le, presento a. Going straight across. Let's go el profesor de computación. Perdón. Check our work. We have a, el side by side. We have to contract it to al. 5, señor y señora Ramírez. More than one person. So we're going to use les, presento a. And let's go with Doña Esperanza. A, la, because Doña is a title, very similar to how we treat señorita. So it has to be a la señorita, a la Doña. Coming down to section 6, we had bubbles, speech bubbles. And I gave you the first speech bubble. So the second speech bubble, we could say, mucho gusto, pleased to meet you. Because in the first speech bubble, Silvia is introducing Jose to the math teacher, Senor Torres. So he said, pleased to meet you. And then the teacher, third bubble, he's going to say something like, possibly, the pleasure's all mine, being nice and courteous. El gusto es mío. The pleasure's all mine. Muy bien. Moving on, página 44. This was fill in the blanks with question words. Sección 7, número 1, we had como. Número 2, cuál. It translates to what is your email address. So when you're talking about email addresses, physical addresses, telephone numbers, when you want to know what that number is, you use cuál and not que. Otherwise, you're kind of asking for a definition. What is the definition of an email address if you use que? And we don't want that. We just want to know, tell me, what is your email address? Oops, perdón, accent. It's on the wrong letter. 4. 3. Blank quiere decir la palabra escuela. What does the word escuela mean? Que. It's also a phrase on our vocab list. 4. Van al restaurante. So blank is going to the restaurant. We could say maybe when are they going to the restaurant? Who going to the restaurant? Let's say who, because we have to make it plural. because van is plural. So the plural who is quiénes. It's just quién with an es to make it plural. 5, blank es la fiesta de Yolanda. We could say maybe when is Yolanda's party? ¿Cuándo? 6, blank están mis libros de inglés. Blank are my English books. Let's say, where are they? ¿Dónde? 7, blank no vamos al cine mañana. Blank, don't we go to the movie theater tomorrow? Why don't we? ¿Por qué? 8, blank escritorios hay en la oficina. Blank desks are there in the office. How many? So we're going to make how many match escritorios, masculine plural, ¿cuántos? Muy bien. Section 8, we were just unscrambling these components of questions to have them go in an order that makes sense. Número 3, because we already have 1, 2, and 3. Perdón, 4, because we have 1, 2, and 3. 4. Start it with the question mark. La fiesta no es mañana. Isn't the party tomorrow, or the party's not tomorrow? 5, question mark. ¿Van ustedes a la biblioteca? Are y'all going to the library? 6, question mark. Perdóname. ¿Termina la clase a las 2? Does the class end at 2? Muy bien. Página 45. We have answers, and we have to create questions based on those answers. Continuing with número 3, it answers, el hotel se llama Machu Picchu Inn. The hotel's name is Machu Picchu Inn. So the question was probably, what is the name of the hotel? ¿Cómo se llama el hotel? 4, the answer is van en tren panorámico. They're going in a panoramic train, which means they can see all around. So the question would be, how are they going to Machu Picchu, possibly? ¿Cómo van a Machu Picchu? 5, no van a Arequipa. No, they are not going to Arequipa. So we can possibly make the question, are they going to Arequipa? Question mark. Van a Arequipa. 6. The answer is el número de teléfono de Atalaya Turismo es el 4312-578-4. So the phone number of Atalaya Turismo is 4312-5784. So the question could be, what is Atalaya Turismo's phone number? When you want to ask what a phone number is of somebody or something, you use ¿cuál? ¿Cuál es el número de teléfono de, so what is the phone number of Atalaya Turismo? Muy bien, vamos a página 46. 46, there's a word search of 10 different methods of transportation. So I'm going to go over all the ones that go across. That might help a little bit. On the third row across, barco, boat. Skip a couple lines down. The next one is autobús. And the second to the last row, all the way to the left, is metro. Then going to the third column, It starts with diagonally the letter C, carro. And then if you look at the O in carro, right below that is a T, and diagonally that spells taxi. Let's see. Let's look at the third column, the third letter down with the letter B, bicicleta. The 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth row diagonally starts with an A, avión. Kind of in the middle of the word search, moto. And the last word, look at the N in camión. Right below it is the letter T, and that starts the word tren. I know it's a little awkward explaining things when we're not face to face, but I hope you can find those in the word search. Now you know what the words are. Sección 11. So I recommended Googling where these places are to see how far away they would be if you don't know the cities. So let's look at número 2. De Cancún a Cozumel. From Cancún to Cozumel, it would be realistic to say we could go by bus and autobús. 3. De Mexico DF a Puebla, Mexico City to Puebla. It's kind of far away, but realistically, use a different vocab word. Let's say en taxi. 4. Del Zócalo a Chapultepec. So from downtown to Chapultepec Park, you could walk it a pie. 5. De la escuela al cine. From the school to the movie theater. Let's use a different vocab word, I guess, and let's take the subway and metro. Finally, del hotel a un restaurante cerca. From the hotel to a close restaurant. Again, we can say a pie. We can walk it. Página 47. I reminded you last video of all the conjugations of ir, which means to go. Voy, vas, va, vamos, van. Continuing with número 2, the subject in number 2 is Felix. That's the L form of the verb, va. 3, the subject is él y un amigo. Él y un amigo, that's going to be the ellos form of the verb, they, him and a friend, van. 4 starts with yo, no, so it's going to be voy. I don't go, yo no voy. 5, Iban is our subject of the sentence. That's the L form of the verb, va. 6, there's no new subject in number 6. It's a continuation of number 5. It's the same sentence. So that means it has the same subject, Iban. Still stays the L form of the verb. 7, Rebecca y Antonio. So we have Rebecca and Antonio. That's going to be the ellos form of the verb, van. 8, it asks y tú. So and you, informally, because it's in the to form. So we want the to form of ir, which is vas. 9, como blank tú vas? How do you go? Do you have transportation? ¿Tienes transporte? The last blank, tú y yo. You and me. You're talking about yourself and somebody else. You and me is we, nosotros. So the conjugation, vamos. Muy bien, vamos a página 48. We matched up the subjects with the verbs that are conjugated in section 13. Continuing with number 3, because the verb is va, we need somebody that would be the él, ella, or usted form of the verb, and that is Leonardo. 4, blank boy, that's yo boy. 5, blank no vamos. Vamos is the nosotros form of the verb. Y número 6, blank vas, tú vas. Muy bien. Página 48, so same page, sección 14, we created sentences using the subjects given and made it say that whoever the subject is goes by whatever the picture is. So it's how they get from one place to another. 3 is yo, so it's yo voy, and bicicleta. I go by bike. 4, Rubén va en camión. Rubén goes by truck. 5, tú vas en motocicleta. You go by motorcycle. 6, Graciela va a pie. Graciela goes by foot, which means she walks. And that's what she's doing in the picture. 49, we created sentences using a phrase or word or time from each of the 3 columns to talk about where the people go and at what time they go there. Continuing with number 3, the subject is tú, so we'll say vas. To the bank is going to be al banco, because banco, single and masculine. And let's have them go at noon. Tú vas al banco a mediodía, which means you go to the bank at noon. You could also have said a las 12 de la tarde, which means you go to the bank at 12 in the afternoon. 4, el estudiante nuevo, the new student, va. Let's have him go to the party. Va a la fiesta. And going across from fiesta, it's 2 p.m., so let's say a las 2 de la tarde. So we have the new student goes to the party at 2 in the afternoon. 5, Don Ignacio va. He's going to the park. Park is single and masculine. Va al parque. And going across, let's have him go at 4:30 p.m. A las 4 y media. Media is a half hour. That's 30 minutes. De la tarde. In the afternoon. 6, Alicia y Gloria. So they are going to the doctor. Alicia y Gloria van a la médica, because médica is feminine and singular. Alicia y Gloria van a la médica, and we're having it at 6:45 p.m. A las, round up, 7 menos a quarter of an hour, cuarto, de la tarde. So we have Alicia y Gloria go to the doctor, and it's literally at 7 o'clock minus 15 minutes. 7 o'clock minus 15 minutes is 6:45, like it says in our 3rd column. We skipped workbook page 50. Workbook page 51, I gave you 1 horizontal, 1 vertical. I'll continue with all of the horizontal answers. So number 6 across, hay muchos edificios en el centro. There are a lot of buildings downtown. 7, el concierto de rock va a ser en la 7 o'clock across plaza. The rock concert is going to be downtown in the plaza. 8, una blank, que es una calle grande. What we're looking for is avenue, and avenue is a big street, avenida. We did 1 down. Going to 2 down. El actor está en el teatro. The actor is in the theater. 3, La blank de Mexico es grande. What we're looking for is city. Mexico City is big. Ciudad. 4. Voy a la blank porque necesito ropa nueva. I'm going to the something because I need new clothing. Store, generic word for store, tienda. Y número 6. Los carros van por la. So 6 down. Cars go on the street. Calle. Página 52. All we did was create sentences saying what the pictures are. Continuing with number 3, it is a theater. Es un teatro. 4, it is a city maybe. Es una ciudad. 5, it is a restaurant. Es un restaurante. Y número 6, it is, let's just use the generic word for store. It is a store. Es una tienda. Our last page is 53, and it was using the formula ir a infinitive, which means in English to be going to do something. And that something is whatever your infinitive verb is. And remember, infinitive verbs end in AR, ER, or IR. And because we're creating sentences talking about where these people are going to go, our infinitive for this activity, for every single one, 1 through 6, is the verb ir. Ana va a ir al Museo Mural Diego Rivera. Ana is going to go to the museum. 2. Nosotros vamos a ir al Museo Nacional de Arte. We are going to go. Continuing, número 3. Our subject is tú. So it's going to be vas a ir. You are going to go al Palacio de Bellas Artes. And we used al because palacio is masculine and singular, just like museo is masculine and singular, so we used al here and here. 4. We have Don Luis y, oh, perdón, no y, just Don Luis. Don Luis va a ir. Don Luis is going to go a la, because plaza is feminine and singular, a la plaza de Garibaldi. Don Luis is going to go to Garibaldi Plaza. 5. Pablo y David. Because it's ellos now, it's going to be van a ir. So Pablo and David are going to go, and they're going to El Templo Mayor. Van a ir al, because templo, masculine and singular, mayor. 6. Señor y señora Vélez. Ellos form the verb again, van a ir. So Mr. and Mrs. Vélez are going to go, and they're going to Palacio Nacional, which is masculine and singular. So we're using al to the Palacio Nacional. Mr. and Mrs. Vélez are going to go to the National Palace. Señor y señora Vélez van a ir a Palacio Nacional. This is the end of the explanation of workbook answers 41 through 53. Muchas gracias y adiós.